So in a different video, Tim, we talked about, we talk about now about why to go to the cloud, why not to go to the cloud. We keep talking about this hybrid cloud thing. You say it more than I do. I agree with you, but since you're the one to keep saying it, I'm going to ask you, what do you mean? What's a hybrid cloud?
It's a good question. So hybrid is really the default, and it's the most common scenario that I see these days.
Yep.
Some organizations are all in on on-prem, where they do everything on premises and they don't really use the cloud at all.
Yep.
A very few organizations are just cloud. In fact, we worked with a couple of those that run their whole infrastructure in the cloud.
Sure.
Most organizations, if they're doing the cloud right,
Yep.
they're doing a hybrid where there are some workloads. We talked in an earlier video about some workloads work well in the cloud, some do not. So in a case like that, picking and choosing the workloads that make a lot of sense for the cloud is actually more efficient because it doesn't bind you to, I have to do everything on-prem, I have to do everything in the cloud. And one of the advantages to that is specifically around Azure. You can use Azure Active Directory, for example.
Yep.
The last thing you want to have to do is tell your users, tell your principals, hey, if you do something on-prem for this application, just use your Windows account password. But if you go out here for this database, you go out here for this server, you have to use a whole different set of credentials. They're going to hate you if you do that. So there's a lot of easy ways, relatively easy ways to integrate your on-prem access with your in the cloud access.
Absolutely.
And it makes a lot of sense because then you can be picky and choosy about which apps you're actually putting in the cloud.
Sure. Yeah, you mentioned efficiency. It's not just efficiency. It's not just efficient that way too, but it's actually, you can build success better. Pick your workload. Most people watching the video, the economy and the technology world has changed since Azure first came out and AWS first came out. It's no longer, remember it had that phase where it was like, this will never work. It's just mainframe computing and that's just somebody else's data center. Yeah. And then it became, oh no, at the golf course, the other CIOs are talking about going to the cloud. So I don't know what this cloud thing is, but I need a project to go to the cloud. Remember they did that?
Oh yeah.
And then it sort of got quiet. And now all of a sudden it's like, all right, now it's a mature cloud. Right now it's just this hybrid approach. But so most people watching the video, you want to be in the cloud. You need to be in the cloud. Was that from Full Metal Jacket, right? But most people want to be there. So why not take the most successful project to go there? So look around and find something that really lends itself to success in the cloud. Something with a smaller data set to start with, right? Not that it can't handle big data sets. It sure can. You've seen big data warehouses and databases. I have too. It can handle it. I mean, Microsoft. If you're running lots of, if you ever use Xbox Live, I don't know if your kids like that or the PlayStation, but if they use Xbox Live, you're already using Azure today,
Right.
So it can handle large data volumes, but pick something that's compact, that doesn't touch a lot of other systems. I probably wouldn't put my warehouse in the cloud right away and leave all my source systems here on premise and then have to load from the source systems up to the cloud and all that. Maybe you could, but I'd pick something small, kind of in its own box and have success. I mean, is that crazy, or do you?
No, that makes sense because if you're using the cloud for the first time, the last thing you want to do is have this encumbrance where everybody's relearning everything all at one time. And if you pick the most applicable workload, maybe it's a bigger one, maybe it's on the smaller side, and migrate that to the cloud as a POC, as a test case, then you can ease yourself into it.
Yeah, and I have this thing I call kind of like it's my zero depth cloud entry strategy, right? And it's instead of picking an application, pick a usage, and what's one of the most common things people need to do with their databases? Hopefully you know the answer.
The most common thing?
Yeah.
Back them up.
Yeah, the most important thing, yep.
Yeah.
So why not do backup in the cloud first? It's low risk. It's a second place for your backup to be. And it gives you the confidence to now go into the annual disaster planning meeting or BCP meeting. That's not bulk copy protocol for people who are SQL people, but it's the business continuity planning meeting. Go in there and say, hey, you know what? We just developed a new strategy. All of our backups are going off site. So that's a great place to start. Is it hybrid? Well, yeah, it is. It's IT hybrid. It's not application hybrid. But you can do that. If you're in IT, you can do that all by yourself. You don't need to change applications and call vendors and make users mad. The users don't even need to know.
Right.
The directors and CIOs and all, they should probably know, but the users don't need to know.
Yeah. So that really makes the hybrid a continuum where there's not half and half, but as it makes sense, push this application to the cloud. This one's in the cloud. These will remain on-prem, and they can still integrate and talk to one another.
Yeah. Get in there. Get some stuff in there. Get your Active Directory stretched up there. Get ready to do it, and then bring stuff up there when it makes sense.
Yeah.
And if it never makes sense, it's okay. Nobody's gonna get mad at you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Microsoft will get mad at you sales wise or something, but nobody. Actually, they don't care as long as you're buying licenses.
You're still
they
buying
have-
licenses
they
one
don't
way or
care.
the other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Even in AWS, you're still buying Microsoft licenses.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, most clouds, what I found, most clouds are hybrid. So very few organizations are just all in with the cloud, and there's nothing at all wrong with that. And there's with the tools that are out there, especially on the Azure side,
Yep.
it makes a lot of sense to look at it from a hybrid perspective rather than making a decision all cloud or all prem.
Especially for lack of a better word, like brick and mortar businesses. You know, like the Coca-Cola is the medical software companies. You know, those companies make sense because they need data centers. You know, if you're building, you know, this is a dog sitting company just like Uber.com, you don't need infrastructure.
Sure.
I mean, that might be
You might not have a physical office at all.
Yeah. So you understand the model of the Uber model. So go ahead and do that model for your servers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So that's just a few reasons, you know, why hybrid makes sense and kind of a description of what hybrid is. You know, we could probably talk a lot about hybrid, but I think the point is it's just you don't have to go headfirst into the cloud completely, but you should pick that workload and make it work and build small successes and go from there.
That's right.
I think that's good. So
yeah.
Thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks for watching.